Well, Mike, in that open, you're quoted as saying it can't just be about money. Well, apparently that's the case with Steph Diggs, because on Sunday, Ben Volin of the Boston Globe wrote an article regarding Steph Diggs' frustration with the team. And quote, Diggs' frustration is with his role in the offense and his voice in play calling. That's what a source is telling him in the Bills locker room. Let me just give you.
What? That's why I said you weren't allowed to look at the show notes.
Yeah, let me just
I wanted
give
that
you,
reaction right there from Mr. DuckDuckGo.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted. Right there. That's what we were looking for.
He had 154 targets, top 5 in the NFL.
Right.
Over 1,400 yards receiving and 11 touchdowns. But I'll give you this part of it in the article. Maybe he has a point. Look at the last 6 games of the 2023 season, including the playoffs. He caught just 1 touchdown pass, averaged 63 yards per game, and in the game they lost against the Bengals, had just 35 yards for 4
catches. And melted down.
Yes.
But, David, my point to you would be that has nothing to do with play calling. It has everything to do with your quarterback. And you have to look at yourself. How many times you getting open? Right. How many times in a sight adjust are you running the appropriate route? Like, there's so much that goes into this. The idea that you're Steph Diggs, right? You've made it to this level. You got yourself gone from Minnesota. You're winning games. You're playing with Josh Allen. You got your money, and it's still not enough. I keep saying it to Rico. We've reached a point where wide receivers, to me, you can't keep them happy.
Mm-mm. No, it's almost to the point where wide receivers try to outdo each other. Oh, I want control of the team while I'm playing.
I'll take an Amon-Ra St. Brown any day of the week. You know why? He's not Steph Diggs. But you know what Amon-Ra doesn't do? He doesn't complain.
I know.
He doesn't cry. He goes to work. And I love that bit where he knows every receiver taking ahead of him. I love the Spite Store.
Right, but then all of a sudden you wonder at what point does he get tainted?
Don't
does
say
he
that.
Take it to another level. Mike, every receiver, it's inevitable. He may be a late bloomer, but receivers are crazy. Yeah, you want control of the offense? You're a wide receiver.
Maybe I'm sensitive to it based on Keon Coleman's offseason circus, too. They're all out of their minds.
Give me the ball!
No, but that's where the wide receivers are now, that they're these artificial divas that people overinflate them. It's like, guys, you catch passes. That's it.
Yeah, and again, they're very important. They are compensated more than running backs, more than tight ends. The only people on the offense they don't make more money than is the quarterback. Like, it's amazing. I don't want to make the whole segment about it.
And probably
the
left tackle maybe, but yeah, you're right.
Can you imagine a wide receiver who thinks he has a right to play calling? Sure thing, Tex.
I wonder what the play is going to be. Oh, I'm open. I mean,
every single play you're open.
Every wide receiver always thinks they're open, but there are only a few like that. Calvin Johnson was always open.
True.
Jerry Rice was always open. Steph Diggs ain't always open. Newsflash. I don't even know if it's anybody in the NFL right now that is always open. Maybe Jefferson. What you call him? What you call him?
His name on Twitter is Jay Jettas.
Yeah. I don't even know what that means.
That's what he uses. I don't know what it means. I have to ask my kids when I get home.
But other than that, there's no receiver right now that's just, you know what, throw him the ball, because even if they're triple covered,
I feel like Jamar
open.
Chase, but I'm probably reaching. I don't want. It's not even an argument. You've made your point and you're right. I needed that reaction from you. My day's made.
Yeah, that was a great reaction, Rico. Like, huh?
Wait, what?
So let me get to this real quick, because I just don't quite understand why players can't be smarter, okay? So they get a few weeks off until they get themselves prepared and ready and packed to head to training camp, and you got an idiot doing this. Jack Jones was arrested, the cornerback for the New England Patriots, a 4th-round selection of last year's draft, played in 13 games, but he was found at the airport he was arrested for attempting to bring 2 firearms onto a plane, among other allegations. And I've read the thing.
Not 1, but 2.
I know. And he had a large capacity feeding device that carries a 2.5-year to 10-year prison sentence in the state of Massachusetts. Why are players dumb?
Wait, what was the last thing?
It was a large capacity feeding device that he had.
Basically an attachment for the weapon.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The weapon is one thing, and and then you start doing mod. Think of it like a modification to a car.
Gotcha.
And that carries a stiff penalty. David, I don't have the answer, man.
I mean,
he was also one of their best rookies. He's a guy that was going to make it, so to speak. Like, you as a Patriot mid-round draft pick, when you play in 13 games and you're a guy that has value, you're well on your way. What are you doing?
I mean, you watch too many movies. You start thinking that you can, if that's the case, take a private jet if you want to do all of that. But
what movies was he watching? Tuesdays with Mozzie?
I'm thinking.
An update to that story, by the way, guys.
Snakes on a plane.
Jack Jones is also the guy who tweeted at Ja Morant saying, "Dumb letting your social media and pride ruin you. Put them guns down and run that money up."
No.
Yeah, he goes on and it goes on and on.
That aged wonderfully.
Did not age well.
I mean, maybe one gun that you just kind of you left in the bag and you forgot, like,
But why at the airport?
I don't understand. You keep it, you hide it, and it's in a bag, and then you had to go real quick and you throw stuff in there. But you had multiple guns.
What are you, Frank Lucas? Who has a gun in their go bag?
Well, he knows
you're going to the airport.
He knows he has a few weeks off. You know you're leaving. You're not leaving all of a sudden.
I reach in my travel bag and I find mints. Oh, a protein bar.
Oh, I left the toothbrush in here.
You don't find the Nina up in there?
A Beretta. Wait, what? Oh, there is a pair of socks in here. Sweet. I mean,
Honey, hold this gun for a second. There we go. All right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just wild to me. But the tweet to Ja Morant, that's the chef's kiss. Good pull, Kenny.
That's a great find by you, Kenny. Let's talk about this for a quick minute. The gambling issues that are happening in the NFL. One player lost $8 million, according to a report in 2022. Not sure if that's from gambling or some other stuff on the side, but it was reported. Of course, you have the players that were suspended, the Colts player that's implicated. Do you think this puts the league's integrity into question when you start seeing more and more stories about?
No, I think that's it's kind of one of those talking points. It's like a political football. No, because the reality is whether gambling is legal or illegal, the integrity of the sport is always at risk because there's going to be a player who's vulnerable for a multitude of reasons that if the right person gets to him, they can be had. Right. It's the history of sports, David. Yeah. That's always been the case. All the way back to the White Sox, 1919 World Series, all the way through college scandals, professional scandals, Tim Donaghy, etc. David, I always feel there's a tinge of questionability with sports. Mm-hmm. But to act like, oh no, now that it's in the bright light, well, no, because the players gambling and getting caught, clearly these policies are not being defined.
See, and this is where I think that Raj needs to get on a plane and travel to 32 different cities. Or he could double up in New York and L.A. But
a symposium?
Right. Guys, here's the deal. You heard it straight from me. If you're in my office and we're dealing with this gambling stuff, you're gone.
He could
I'm telling you right here, right now.
On a private plane, he could hit 3 cities a day. He could be done in about a 10, 11-day rip.
Right. It's 30 cities.
Vacation with Raj. Here's the
Coast,
presentation.
Chargers, Rams.
Giants, Jets, Eagles,
Giants, Jets together.
Commanders.
Chargers, Rams. Come on. All right, guys.
And he cues it up on the big screen. It says, don't gamble. Presentation over.
Yeah, you guys hate meetings? So do I. So I got 30 seconds. Don't gamble.
But no.
Take the apps off your phone. Get off the computer. Do not gamble. Don't care if it's on your team, any other team. Right. How about you just don't gamble? You're in my office. I'm kicking you out the league. All right, see you later. Goodbye.
Have a nice day.
So let's close it out with this because there's some talk going on with a certain quarterback in the NFL, MVP, and this quarterback's name, Justin Fields. NFL scouts and other coaches are saying that he's been training with Michael Vick and are predicting that he could potentially pass Trevor Lawrence this year and be in the MVP conversation this year. If it's just people talking because there's nothing else to talk about until training camp, or do you think he can take a giant leap this year?
I mean, Rico and I both have loved him since he was at OSU. I thought he was going to his Niners. I love him. We even did a show. I'll never forget it. We did a show. Is the gap not nearly as big between Fields and Lawrence as many people think it is? And we were called slappies and the rest. The whole point is, look, I don't believe that leap is going to happen because I don't like the infrastructure in Chicago. But a quarterback who could put up 1,000 yards rushing and put up, say, 3,000 yards passing, he's going to be in that conversation.
See, I think it could happen because you now have an offense that maybe you have a coach that likes him. So he's not going to hang him out to dry.
Somebody want to alert Chase Claypool he gets paid to play football?
Yeah.
David.
Fall from grace, as he.
No, the Steelers are the smartest team in the league because they got a 2 for a corpse. Carry on, Rico.
No, but I'm saying you got a coach that likes you, a coach that believes in you, motivation. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard going to work every day knowing my coach wants me to die out here on the field. He wants to prove a point. I don't have any protection. Every snap, I see my life flash before my eyes. And now he can relax and just play the game.
The one thing I'm not going to do is allow Trevor Lawrence slander. There's no way he's better than Trevor Lawrence.
He's not going to potentially pass him?
No way.
I mean,
No way.
Better hair.
All right, listen. Leave that alone. There ain't no way.
You know
he's better
what,
than
David?
Lawrence.
I think that he could take that leap the way Trevor Lawrence took that leap last year, because I did think
not
that
pass him, but have a similar type of yes.
Right, they're on the same trajectory, because I was starting to think that Lawrence he wasn't him.
You know
But
why it's
last
not
year-
going to happen, though? Because the Lions are winning this division, and we are winning a home playoff.
So he can't take that leap.
But here's the thing. Division may not be that great.
You
So
shut your face.
If he could win this thing, then there it is.
Well, that's not happening.
And that's a great way to end it.
That
That
is.
is in football today.